as opposed to a melody, and that will be on page 6. And we'll read together. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And we turn to page 2, and we invite, is it Kathy and Julie Arnheim to light candles? Page 2. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Julie will be speaking this evening, so we'll be welcoming her back to the beam in a couple of minutes. Continuing with Shalom Aleichem and page 24 to welcome in the Shabbat angels. Turning back to page 12, L'chuna Ranana is the first words of Psalm 95. From Psalm 96 on the very next page, Shiru Ladonai. And this one uses the first 4 lines.
Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Aseru meyom leyom Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Aseru meyom leyom Yeshuato.
You turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. And we'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And so I have a note here. The first 2 verses will be one melody, and then the last 2 are a different one. And I don't know if you picked it because of President's Day. Say yes. Sure. Say it, because that melody is called Lincoln's Nigun, and it's President's Day coming up. So I knew you did that on purpose. That'll be 5 and 9, and we rise when we get to 9.
Adoti likrat kala b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Adoti likrat kala b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Shamor v'sachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu elam meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please take a moment to greet one another, wish someone Shabbat Shalom, maybe someone that you don't know in the spirit of. You have so much to say to one another, but we'll continue with Tzadik HaTamar, the Psalm for Shabbat, on page 22. On page 26, Chetzi Kaddish. Page 28. page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteh sha'arim, uvitvuna mishana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. V'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Avantu. Continue on page 36. On page 39 at the top of the page, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and together, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Michamocha as on page 40. page 42. We ask God to spread over us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. And we also say, defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. And so we think especially of those members of our community, our family, our friends who are in need of healing of body and spirit. Lot Ackerman, Dale Anderson, Julie Arnheim, James Barrett, Les Berkowitz, Alex Botkin, Jennifer Burnow, Dina Demas, Joanne Mandel DeWitt, Ann Fay, Jessica Fondy, Virginia Frank, Stuart Gall, Mark Greenberg, Amanda Goldstein, Richard Gordon, Wayne Hunkel, Richard Can, Naum Kaplan, Sylvia Kasparovsky, Al Camper, Ruth Leff, Isabel Leindecker, Susan Lothar, Beatrice Jean B.G. Morrison, Marco Massara, Fred Oringer, Lev Podorovsky, Charles Rosenblum, Jonathan Robeson, Oliver Scheibel, Bill Stein, Drew Tomasi, Helen Marie Tyree, David Wallach, Dr. Malcolm Weiss, Claudius Willis, and Ralph Wise. Other names from Misha Berach tonight for healing?
Roger Groves.
Barry Chast.
Nancy Weiss.
Irma Morris. Rita Edwards. Danielle Marco.
Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Huyavarech v'Yirapeh et HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel. The shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 44, V'shamru, in acknowledgement of our covenant with God to keep Shabbat. V'shamru.
Shabbat.
Turn to the Tefillah, opening meditation on page 46. Please rise in body or spirit. On the top of page 55, we read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. May this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai.
B'kadesh HaShabbat. Turning the page. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer and love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God is near to all who call. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. And on page 59. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ocha lehodot. We finish the tefillah with a prayer for peace, for wholeness, for healing. Even though we did a healing prayer, wholeness is also healing. The world feels a little bit broken, literally broken, with the earth being broken. And so if we can just add our prayers for peace, for wholeness for the world, not just for ourselves tonight. Shalom Rav. Continue now with our own silent prayer. February is a couple of different things. Black History Month. It's also Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month. And in honor of that second month, we've invited Julie Arnheim to speak to us tonight for our Devar Torah. The portion is Mishpatim. I think you mentioned in there how Mishpatim got chosen, or how this month got chosen because of Mishpatim. So come on up. I'll give you my microphone.
You do not know, we are now 2 weeks into Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month. Tonight, I am honoring all those who struggle with disabilities, as well as their families, for the love and support they give. I chose to do a Devar Torah tonight in memory and in honor of 2 men who helped guide me and inspire me to be the woman I am today. My father, Stuart Arnheim, would have celebrated his 80th birthday today. My Uncle Donald, whose 3rd yahrzeit we honor tonight, these 2 brothers both battled Parkinson's for the last few decades of their life. It also is 3 days shy of my 3rd anniversary of my brain cancer. I'm honoring the healing journey that I am on, and I'm grateful for all of you who have lifted me on the Misha Be'er list. Mishpatim has lessons including 53 laws that are handed to us. Ironically, at Purim last year, a Chabad rabbi taught me that coincidence is just an 11-letter word for God. Here I am doing this Devar Torah, and I'm in awe with the coincidence I turned 53 this summer. In preparing for tonight's talk, I reached out to Yossi Kahana. He's the executive director of the Jewish National Fund, and the JNF actually created the concept of Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month. And they picked it to be February because of this Parsha. Now, the Jews have received the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. We learned that last week. And the Torah demands in this Parsha that we be nice, extra nice, to strangers and widows and orphans. Why is strangers placed with widows and orphans? People who are often thought to be venerable. In Torah, they actually use the word ger as stranger. Ger has other meanings in modern Hebrew, but in this context, it is a stranger. When God created us in God's image, Adonai could have chosen to make us all the same, with the same strengths, the same weaknesses, the same looks and ideas. Yet Adonai did not. By choosing to make each of us unique, he signified the importance and the uniqueness of each of our own power. Our differences, which make us strange to others, is precisely what allows us to see the world from alternative perspectives and find solutions to challenging situations. It is because of our challenges and faults individually that people are able to have an impact on the world. After all, angels don't leave footprints. Well, our differences, which make each one of us what someone else may call strange, can be the biggest asset. It is also the vulnerability that is articulated in Mishpatim. When faced with a stranger, a person who is different, regardless of the cause of that difference, we should not punish them for the difference. We should embrace them as we would want to be embraced. God gives each of us a level of gevurah, of strength, yet community and congregation and interpersonal support is the way that I interpret this Shabbat's Parsha. Widows and orphans could also be interpreted as the adult child caregiver, as well as the spousal caregiver, both who deal with caregiver burden and burnout. Torah says, "You shall not ill-treat them." The way I pull this together is how we define a stranger. When my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's at 44, he was still the man my mother met, married, and loved. Yet, by the time 20 years of his 23-year journey had gone, Parkinson's had turned him into a stranger. He was no longer the man my mother married. He was changed. And my mother was changed as well to almost a widow, because she was grieving the man who he was while still caring for him with chesed as her main focus, that kindness, that loving kindness. And this is true of all people who are going through a grieving process with someone. We need to support caregivers as the widows or orphans that they may be or feel. It's just as critical for that as it is for showing up at funerals and Shiva and being present for a minyan. And surprise, that's it. There was one cute haiku that I found that also summarizes this parsha. All people are God's, stranger, orphan, and widow. Support those in need. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Insight. Never heard some of those insights expressed before, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And one of the things that happened when we talked about this is that you said many people can come and do this.
Oh.
So don't be a stranger. If you feel like you want to,
Yeah.
you don't have to be a bar bat mitzvah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's true. We welcome. It's really true. If you have something you'd like to say, if you're interested in exploring the idea of the opportunity to do Devar Torah, absolutely happy to talk to you about that. So thank you. Aleinu. So it is on us. It is upon us to take the words of Torah into our hearts. Aleinu, page 282. Please rise in body or spirit. on page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and all those whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. Within the last week, Dorothy Silberman. And within the last 30 days, Nathaniel Friedman, Mina Cavalier, Joan Holohan, Rita Rosenberg, Marjorie Rosendale Lande, and Max Stadler. We also remember those whose yahrzeit we observe on the Shabbat, those who died of this season in years past: Joan Apt, Claire Arnheim, Donald Arnheim, Mary Augustine, Howard Berman, Ralph Brock, Ruth Brock, Virginia Brovitz, Dr. Edward Curtis, Sarah Epstein, Mac Fuhrer, Dr. Harvey Gollin, Barry Greenwald, Blanche Gross, Stanley Gumberg, Irene Haber, Pearl Haber, Celia Hepner, Marion Hechtman Jacobson, David B. Kaplan, the Honorable Lawrence W. Kaplan, Ruth LeVar, Louis M. Levick, Francis F. Levin, Milton Levine, William M. Lowenstein, Marcianne Marcus, Lillian May Collinette McQuiston, Dr. Harry I. Miller, Arthur Moss, Martin Ost, Alan Selig, Anna Shook, Stanley Spear, Evelyn Wolfson, Rita Wolk. Are there any other names for Kaddish for tonight?
Lisa Yvette Leonard.
Zichronam Livracha, may all their memories be for blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. B'galav v'yizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudeshaber. Leila min kol birchata v'sherata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huyaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. In just a moment, we will conclude our service with Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. It's on page 353. Basically translates to, there's still a possibility, there's always a possibility for peace. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. It may, how do they translate? Peace will surely come to us. So thank you to Luke in the back for helping us be seen and heard. Thank you to our music director, Don McGahan, and to Cantor Laura Berman. Thank you. Again, Julie, I have all kinds of thoughts since you ended your Dvar Torah a minute ago. And the one that is most on my mind is that because of disabilities, sometimes we think about disabilities like long-term or change forever, but there is some statistic, and I don't remember exactly what it is, like 85% of us will have some kind of disability at some point in our lives. And so we also become strangers to ourselves. And so there's a kind of compassion, I think, that we afford to others as well as to ourselves. We can really understand what it feels like because we will be strangers ourselves at some point. So on Sunday morning, we will be hosting two professors from Pitt, Dr. Kathleen Blee and Dr. Rachel Cranston, talk about confronting anti-Semitism. It's a Herzog breakfast sponsored by the Brotherhood and Women of Rodef Shalom and the Community Outreach and Social Action Committee on 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks? February 24th? That's not next week, is it? No, 2 weeks. Is it next week?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next week, Friday night, we'll have services in the sanctuary together with Dor Chadash and Tree of Life. It'll be a regular service, a little bit shorter actually, but all of our congregations together. There's a light dinner, and then our special guest is Miriam Anzovin. She's very bright, she's very interesting, she's hilarious. If you don't know who she is, you can go on TikTok and watch her. She studies Talmud every day, and she does these really interesting, not every day, I mean, she does it every day, but she doesn't always do the TikToks every day. And she has this really amazing, clear way of teaching Jewish ideas, really, really good. Her talk is free and open to the public. That'll be after dinner. Rodef Shalom Aleinu, page 353, followed by Kiddush and Motzi. Page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishonu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'anu, v'shalai kavsho v'yahavu ratzon hililanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereishit, ki hu yom tefilah v'nikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim.
Kivanu v'chorta, v'yotanu kidashta, v'morim, v'shalat moshecha, v'yahavu ratzon, imhatanu, baruch Adonai, mekadesh hashoah. Amen. L'chaim. Please come get some challah. Take your prayer books out to the hall. In that order, challah and then the books out. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.